Oh, Nans.
Yeah, Nana Jayney. Is that what we'll call you?
Yeah, Nana.
Nana. Put your glasses on, Nana.
Nana's
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Here we are. Áine Tyrrell's very cosy. Should we just give him a little pan?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, look, it's a little bit blinder. Oh, this is where all the magic happens.
There's the fire.
There's the fire. We're very warm. We're very cozy.
Yeah, we're cozy.
It's actually a little bit Irish weather here today,
Isn't it,
Áine?
actually?
It's a little bit windy. It's a little bit cold. It's a bit fresh.
It's a nice weather update. You could be one of those ladies who just need the map.
I need the map. Oh, pointing. Always wanted to be a weather lady.
Yeah.
Green screen.
Great, yeah, I know. It's like everybody's dream, really, I think.
Everybody's dreams to be witnessed being fabulous in one way or another.
That's the weather lady.
It's the weather lady. It's someone.
Hi, Tony. Hello. Anyways, we're here not just to talk. Well, I've slept a bit, so I'm feeling a bit better than I did the last time I saw you on Facebook Live. And I'm feeling, it's quite amazing, really. It's amazing what happened. So I slept a little bit because all the other time my brain was just firing on all the things that is possible that we can all do now. That happened, really. So, and that's what we're here to do, to launch the podcast, which is going to come with the CD along the way from now on, actually. Yeah, so we'll have an episode, I don't know, once a week or something, and it's called Deeper Into the Sea. Get that? You got it? Yeah.
I see what you did there. I like
see that? We're trying to deeper into the sea. Clever. I'm pretty clever. And I've invited my beautiful friend Jayney.
Hello, everybody. You don't know me, but I know some of you from your commentaries, which is always exciting.
And Jayney and I sit and talk shite a lot. Like it's
one of our
favourite
things
thing
we
to
do well.
Yeah,
we do that well,
really well. So I thought she would be the best person to come and ask questions.
Setting the scene.
There you go.
Sharing the experience of the ups and downs, the ins and outs of the last few weeks of your life.
Yes. Yeah.
Which were heavily focused, obviously, on this particular project.
We didn't have as many shite talking sessions in that time.
No, we didn't.
So we're going to make up for it.
We're going to make up for it, darling. We're going to make up for it. But let's, on a more serious tone, everyone, we are here to share the journey, to start what actually happened. What actually happened inside that little big brain of yours, that big little heart of this massive journey that you leapt into and took the bull by the horns, and we're all very proud of you because you made something really big happen, and all you guys made something really big happen, and you probably learnt some stuff about what happens when you open and be really transparent with a community of people about an exponential force that becomes created when we get together in community, which is possible on this social media platform, which we often bag. But this has been a very positive experience of that, and it feels important for you to share what happened and how it happened and what you went through and how you guys turned it into something else, and then how that turned that into something else for you. And it was like that. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was like that.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's just go back to the beginning, and I think it's important to mention maybe that you came off the back end of a previous project, which you'd been in a really deep space with for a few weeks. Just so where you were at when you started this project.
Yeah, well, I think I come back from Ireland after we had recorded, and we had got funding from Creative Victoria to do that part of it, and then we took a big break from the project. Just there was no money. Both Mark and I were exhausted. We needed time to, apart from what the music was, and just to get on with shit generally in life. Yeah, and so then the option was to apply for some grants or eat noodles for a couple of years.
The children.
Or I had such a positive experience with my first crowdfund, and I really felt like this community around me when I did it, that I thought for this particular album, which has so much of the themes of hope and finding yourself and who you are and just fucking going for shit. I just thought it was a little bit more important to have, to share that with people. So I knew a crowdfund was what I wanted to do, but it took me a long time, I suppose, to get the courage up to put it up there, because it is putting yourself out there like that it's not an easy thing to do.
So the transparency was a confronting.
Yeah, and kind of in your head you're going like, oh, but you know, who does she think she is, going for, you know, a crowdfund again, or will anyone even want to back a second album? They already helped me with the first album. What are they going to get out of this that'll make them want to do it? You know, you have all the inner critic which tells you that you shouldn't do any of that stuff, and you have to kind of say to that little fecker on your shoulder, like, to shut up, like, all the time. But that's with everything in life. Like, it's not just crowdfunding. But I think crowdfunding, like, magnifies that too.
It's like everyone watching you go to the toilet, really, isn't it? Yeah. You know, you're in a compromised, vulnerable position.
Yeah.
And you can't really step out of that.
No, yeah. And crowdfunding, So the act of actually getting it ready and putting it up there was a pretty big act. But then I actually stopped and I didn't do it, because at the same time I was about to do it, I was quite involved with the Repeal the 8th campaign in Ireland. And that campaign, and the date that it was set was for the amendment was around the time that I was planning on launching the crowdfund. And I said, well, I can't, because I was so emotionally and everything culturally, everything involved in the Repeal the 8th campaign, that to run two things at the same time, or to be like involved in that in the way that I knew I needed to be, like, it's not that I wanted to, it was like there's a fucking calling to Irish women, and we just all had to arm ourselves and be there, so I had to do that. So I put the crowdfund on pause then for that, and the Repeal the 8 was an amazing experience. It was an amazing experience to be part of that campaign and to watch history unfold, and know that women, like Irish women from all over the world, women even, like not even Irish, there's this roar that came from all of us everywhere. So that campaign, the Repeal the 8th campaign, was happening, and then I waited until after that was finished. But when I pressed like launch on the Possible thing, I still was very much heart and soul was in the Repeal the 8th campaign. So I think at the start of the Possible, it took me a while to find to swap my head over, I think, because I think I was still in another campaign. There's just too many campaigns in life.
And it went from being a socially en masse thing where you knew that you were jumping in to support a campaign that wasn't about you. It wasn't about you.
And so that was hard, actually, coming off that and then having to be like, oh hey, this is like,
oh wait a sec, I'm going back to me.
This is all about me.
But this is the whole irony I find with artists, musicians, on any level. It isn't ever just about you. It's about the art, and it's about the message, and it's about what you are getting through, and to be so attached and to believe in something so much, and just to want to honour that creation, which I think all musicians get and all artists get, that it's not them. It might be their take on something, but the energy that comes through, it's like it comes from there, and you're doing your slant on it. So the amount of energy that's produced to want to go to this extent of committing to the confrontation of crowdfunding.
Well, yeah, because you have even though I know it's not about me, you have to make it about you to get people attached. And what was beautiful is with the crowdfunding and all of you, there's loads of you here right now that were part of it, is that it became like our crowdfund by the end, and not just my crowdfund, my album. And like in the last few days, like I stopped off the day after, I'm still wearing my pajamas. I couldn't even got the kids to school somehow, and I went to get a coffee, and I got bombarded by two people who are jewellery. They didn't make jewellery, and they were just like, you gave us all hope, because it wasn't I somehow broke through the noise, and that is, you know, there's so much noise out there, there's so much being thrown at us, and somehow with what we did and with these online live videos and, I don't know, busking for 15 hours straight, like it cut through to something, and people saw who I was and what I was doing and what the album was about, and that's what changed it, and that's when it became like all of ours, not just mine, and
it's like a sweat lodge for everyone. Everyone went through a transformational process. So let's look at, okay, so it was a 3-week campaign. The first bit, obviously, the beginning, coming off Repeal the 8th, you felt that things were going a bit slowly, and then you hit a crunch point where you had a realisation. I think you said you had 4 days to go when you went, wow, I have to raise a crap load of money, and how the fuck am I going to do this? Yeah,
and I think, you know, my first crowdfund was quite different. I didn't have a fan base. I didn't have the social media that amount of people, and that I hadn't played the amount I've played. I didn't have as many people that were into my music, but for some reason that crowdfund went very smoothly. It, you know, my target was 15,000, and it just like each week just kind of happened. Now, I did do that one for 4 weeks, and that is the magic number that they say you should do your crowdfunds for. But I knew personally, after having spent 3 months working on the Repeal the 8th campaign and going straight into this, I just was like, I can't do 4 weeks. I was like, 3 weeks is enough for me, you know, like I'll just go hell for leather for 3 weeks. In hindsight, I probably would have done their magic number and gone for 4, because I think it actually, in a way, does take people that long to find out what you're doing. I mean, the amount of messages I've gotten the last 2 days since it ended being like, oh my god, can we still pledge? And I'm like, yeah, if we had another week, I don't know, you know. I mean, people are always probably going to say that, but yeah, so they do say with crowdfunding you get this big surge at the start, and then they call it a U-curve or something, where it goes quiet in the middle, and then that last few days goes crazy. But I just kind of felt like we had hit 6,000, and then it just really hadn't moved much, you know, and I was like, shit, there's like 3 or 4 days left. Knowing from my last crowdfunding and seeing other friends go through I mean, like, I'm a crowdfunding addict. Like, anyone's doing a crowdfund, I'm like, I'm there, man. Like, I love it. So I watch everyone's crowdfunds, and I love just getting a CD in the post. It's like record shops now, like, because we don't have record shops that you can go to, and I kind of feel like people's crowdfundings become our like record shops now, where you get a physical CD in the post, whereas unless you're at a gig now, you just don't go get CDs anymore or things. So anyway, I watch a lot of people's crowdfundings as they go along and participate. So I knew coming into those last 3 days that we were in, it just wasn't looking good. And I was sitting here actually, I making the kids breakfast, and I had a little cry. And like the
moment. This is the moment.
This is my moment. And
this
I was like,
the turning point.
And I was like, I needed to come up with a plan, C, D, E, and F, and I was like, it's just not going to happen. And my little girl, who's 11, came up to me and she's like, what's wrong, Mama? And I was like, oh, just a bit worried about this, because if it doesn't go through, it just means I've got to figure out this and this and this. And anyway, she was like, don't worry, Mama, what's for you won't pass you by, which is a lyric from
out
my
of the mouths
song,
of babes,
which came from my nana. And I kind of turned to her and I was like, you can't fucking quote me back to me, it's not allowed, you know.
But you can buy the bracelet on her website, which is good to know.
But I had a lovely moment where I was like, wow, my nana is still speaking to me, but through my 11-year-old, like, that's just mad. And then so I dropped the kids at school and I rang my producer Mark, still sort of in the moment of, I don't think that this is going to go through, and I just said to him, like, I'm not too sure about this. I need a plan C, D, and E and F, and we might need to hold off the release, and we might need to do this and that. And he was like, fucking dust off that self-pity, and we have a fucking album to make. And I was like, okay. So I got my big headphones on, I put the album on, and I went for a run on the beach. And I run on the beach quite a lot, but this time I went barefoot because I forgot my runners because I didn't plan on going for a run on the beach. And by the time I got back, I realized I was soaked up to here. Like, I had just ran through the water. Like,
you returned to the sea.
Yeah, I returned to the sea. But I just, and I think that the thing that changed was that it's not that I believed in me. I do believe in me, like, which is amazing. We should all believe in ourselves. But I listened to the music again, and I was like, I fucking so believe in this album, and Mark so believes in it. And I was like, I am not going down without a fight, which is basically what I came back to. And I also was like, if I don't believe it's going to go through, no one else is going to. So from that moment on, I was like, it's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to make 12.6k in 3 days, but it's fucking going to happen. And I left the beach with that attitude, and until it went through, I didn't doubt for a minute.
And then you saw Mikey somewhere. When was that? That point where you saw Mikey at the cafe, and he'd said to you, don't worry, I know campaigns, I know this is going to happen.
I mean, a lot of people said that to me, Mikey. A lot of people, they were like, if it was anyone else, we would have told you to give up, but because we know it's you, and just things happen like that for you,
and they could feel the energy of it.
Yeah, and I think maybe also feel my belief in it, or the fact that this was what was the next thing that was supposed to happen,
and the relevance. Maybe people tune into the social relevance of these things, and they go, well, it needs to happen on some kind of socio-political, whatever, artistic level. This does align with relevance to, the community, the world, whatever.
And then I kind of feel like every decision I made after that run on the beach, I didn't even question whether it was the right thing to do or what to do. It was just everything was speaking from so deeply within me, do this. Show them who you are. So if that means you've got a hula hoop and tin whistle on top of a bus
and bleed
and bleed while you do it, just show them who you are, because that's what's going to connect with people. And so then the first time I did an Instagram live was really life-changing, and that was probably that night. And I just thought, well, if I play the songs for people from the album, I believe in them so much. If I play them, people might connect with them. But I played them live, and I was shocked. All these people that tuned in, and not only were they requesting, for me to sing those songs, they knew all my back catalogue, and they knew where I had sang this one, and even songs that I haven't recorded that I've sung. And I was like, wow, oh, there's actually people that care. And I think when you're crowdfunding and it's not going to target, you start doubting yourself, and you're like, oh, maybe people don't want another album from me, or maybe people don't want to hear from me anymore. And that's when, speaking with a lot of other musicians about it, I realized that Facebook algorithms and spam filters were having a huge part to do with why my messages weren't getting out there. I could see that the videos I was making and stuff I was doing were just getting a few views, and I was like, how do you get past that? Because the first time I crowdfunded, if you put a post up on your music or business page, everyone who likes your page sees it, and the first time I crowdfunded, if people were on your emailing list and they chose to be on it, they got your email. Whereas now that's not the case. I could see from my emailing list that 29% of it is all that got through, so that's like 70% that went to spam filters. And you could probably say the same fact would be for your Facebook. Your hit rate is
that's a major flaw,
a huge percentage flaw. And I can't, you can't take out ads on everything that you want to put up. So that's when I decided to do the live, because I was like, well, at least people can see that it's happening, and if they want to join in, they can join in. And it was amazing, because in those 3 days, the amount of people I had one woman email me with 2 hours left on the campaign. She's on my emailing list twice, which means she's a business and her personal. She follows my business page. She's a friend of mine on Facebook and And
Insta.
she's on Insta, and she goes to every gig I ever do when I'm in her town. Hugely supportive. She supported my first crowdfunding, and when she emailed me with 2 hours left on the campaign and said, I didn't even know you were doing a crowdfund, I've just told all my friends, I wish I had known earlier. I was like, wow.
Oops, shit, something's not working.
Yeah.
Something in the motion.
So in those last 3 days, not only the Facebook Lives, but the thing that I did was I reached out individually. So of the 500 people on my emailing list, I did an individual email to every person, because I was like, I'm not going to let spam filter be the thing that
fucks me up. Yeah.
Stops my dream, you know.
No.
And Facebook as well. I personally messaged anyone on my Facebook page that has or on my private page that has in any way ever supported my music, and just contacted them and said, this is happening, even just share it if you like, instead of being like, you know,
mammoth effort, babe, to undertake that whilst you're also in it.
Yeah. But that's what I realized is, I think those first 3 weeks or 2 weeks I was kind of like, oh, nobody's really well, people were engaging, not to say that, I mean $6,000 is fucking massive that we got to, but I was like, oh, maybe people just aren't into it or whatever. But then when I just decided I'm gonna go down fighting, which means I have to fight spam filters, and I have to fight Facebook algorithms, and I have to fight like whatever. I always just had the sword down.
Fighting Death Star.
I was just like, I'm gonna fucking go down punches, like just.
And you did, and I think that's what everyone really responded to. You know,
got the love hearts, yes.
And it's like, let's hop on that bandwagon. Let's support someone who's engaged in the good fight and isn't giving up. I think that speaks to everyone's hearts super deeply.
Yeah.
Super deeply.
And I think that's where it became something that was, you know, with everyone that got involved, musicians, so many musicians, like amazing people and stuff, because it kind of gave us all of us hope that, all right, you know, independent artists of any sort, not just musicians, like, it's so hard to get your little vision or your little business out to something bigger.
Yeah.
And there's so many people doing amazing things all over the world, and, you know, only a few get to have the audiences that sustain that creative craft to be a business, you know. And it's like we're all trying to figure out how do you get through to that.
Well, also because a lot of it does involve social media technology to a certain extent, which is a difficult thing for most creatives.
Yes.
That's swapping hats all the time, which is tricky.
And like, I'm not someone that loves social media. I know that it's something that I have to do, you know, for the work. It's not something that I would, you know, it's something I engage with primarily for
as
work,
a tool
for work. But I have to say, the Facebook Lives and the Instagram Lives were really special, and I actually felt the power of social media to connect humans rather than it being a thing that disconnects us, because I think that is, you know, a lot of people like me, a lot of people like you guys listening, and you, like, we would look at social media as a thing that disconnects, and we're always, you know, telling our kids to get off screens or do this, or, you know, like trying to find other ways to connect, not just through social media, but actually it was a really powerful tool of connection. And some of those conversations I had with people at 3 o'clock in the morning, like playing songs, I mean, perfect strangers, like, it was incredible. It was incredible. Yeah.
So beautiful. I'm really glad that it was rewarded, that your input and your transparency and, you know, the energy of it became a thing for everyone to include themselves in and participate in. So thank you to everyone, thank you to you for creating that and giving people a different reference point. I mean, it was quite impactful for me the other night. We all met at the pub after you'd done your... I was on the phone having a fight with Telstra, so I didn't make it down to the hula hooping, bleeding, tin whistling, announcing 211 people's names. Thank you reverently for participating in the crowdfunding, but the people that were sitting around you at the table who were just like, you've given me inspiration. This is what this has shown me, that this is what's possible. And I think that's probably the biggest kind of high. I mean, apart from, I know, raising the money to finish the album has been really great, but that's almost become superseded for you by what's happened.
I mean, I haven't even, like it's been so superseded that I haven't even been in touch with Possible to sort out the funds coming to me yet, because like I'm just way more like interested in what this has created, you know, like that, what and the conversations I've had with people since, you know, that it's given them hope or inspiration, or they're gonna go and do this that they weren't gonna do before, or they're gonna go and do that, and to me that's like, wow, what's possible when humans actually connect and support each other is incredible. And because of social media, we feel like that doesn't happen, which it doesn't, you know, like we don't have those communal meeting spaces or things like that as often anymore. But yeah, that Facebook Live, like this little chat room right now, like creates a little micro community where people actually supported each other, you know. And it wasn't just the conversations with me were great, like people were chatting to me, but it was lovely as well to see all the conversations people were having with each other. And you know, like some beautiful moments were like beautiful friend Karen, and she had invited a friend who she had met online just through musical interest, like similar, like, so they've never met in person, and this woman Yvonne then joins in and you know, purchases an album and invites other people in, and then Karen and Yvonne and they're all chatting in there, and it was just, you know, like it's a great. It was a really lovely and there was another man, John Keneally, who really like stood out for me as someone who he somehow got invited into a chat room while I was playing, and he ended up staying up till like 3 o'clock in the morning, like listening, and he was up the next morning to see whether it went through, and it was just incredible, you know. He didn't know who I was like 12 hours before.
And didn't you get some people that you didn't even know ordering the house party?
Yes,
So there's people that have committed to going, right, I want to keep the party going. I'm paying to get you to come and put it on. We can do it all over again.
Yeah, and he lives in Switzerland, so I don't even know. Like, I think he's going to try to make it happen when I'm in Ireland. Like it's just like...
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. And it was just those magic moments that and the thing is, because I was here on my... just on my own for 15 hours playing, I couldn't really see what was happening with the crowdfund in those last few minutes, because I was sitting here playing for everyone. So in those last few hours, it was everybody else online that was telling me what it was up to. And
excellent.
And I think if I hadn't have been doing Facebook Live, I would have been sitting there refreshing the page every time and checking. But instead, I was just like, it's okay. I'm just going to keep playing music. Just keep playing music, because that's what I do.
That's what it's about.
That's what I do, yeah.
What an awesome journey. That's
it was pretty
great.
And
that's
that,
so
you know,
great.
And it's made me and not that I didn't believe in it before, but the power of the people. God, like, we are really powerful, and if we can do this for me, just for an album, you know, I think the thing is, I knew that on this album there is at least one song that will speak to everyone's soul who has bought it. All 211 people. There is a song on there that will be worth whatever they put in, and I knew that. And that, when I was running on the beach and had that you know, like warrior moment, I knew that. So that is the thing that the belief that got me through. It was less a belief in me than a belief in, I know that this is something that everyone in those 211 people needed. They didn't know they needed it, and you still don't know because you haven't heard it. But you need it, and so I know that is a reward for what they've put in. But if we can do this, if 211 people can do that for me, you know, and for themselves, because it is a really good album they're gonna get, imagine what the fuck is possible. Like if like that's what's blowing my mind. That's why I haven't even rang Possible and organised to get my money yet, because I'm sitting here going like, if we can do this, what else can we do? And yes, there are Trumps and there are, you know, politicians all over the world that are going to make us believe that our voice can't do anything. You know, our one little voice can't do anything to change the shit that's going on in this world. But like, I fucking firmly believe now that is a load of bullshit to keep us shut up, like, you know. And look, we can. We are. Well, we are. And we did it. We did it.
It happened. We created a different platform for what's possible.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we should play a song. Well, you should play a song, because I can't play shit. I can enjoy. Maybe a song from the new album.
Yeah.
Oh, are we allowed to do that? Yeah. Because I think that's, just take everyone back into that little zone of what it was, what it is. And it's going to be great to keep going with the virtual cup of teas.
Yeah, we need to do
every
that.
Sunday. It's going to be...
And I'm going to invite, the virtual cup of teas are going to be brilliant on Sundays, because I'm going to invite someone that's doing something amazing in life, you know, and we can figure out how to support all that too. But anyway, this song, I think I played in those last hours, that last hour of the crowdfund, and it actually nearly made me cry, because it was like, the title is Hope Will See Me Through, and I was just sitting there like fucking living on a hope and a prayer that something was going to come through.
The sweat lodge was really ringing you dry, babe.
If I step outside, will I burn in the inferno? Will I freeze all of tomorrows? If I wager warmth away with a regrowth, will it look the same, or will the forest be forever altered? I don't know how to pray, but I'm down on my knees. I don't know what to say. I am begging, come see me through. Hope will see me through. Hope will see me through. If I raise the white flag, am I putting myself in the fire line? Will I be the ash of what I held dear? Only way around is to go straight through it. I can already feel the embers falling. I don't know how to pray, but I'm down on my knees. I don't know what to say. I am begging, come see me through. Hope will see me through. Hope will see me through. Oh, billows rise to glory, orange skies a warning, don't go that way. But I am gone, I am gone. Oh, with the heart of the grass tree, I survive, even thrive in the fire. And when the rain comes, I'll flower. When the rain comes, I'll flower. I don't know how to pray, but I'm down on my knees. I don't know
Wow, that's beautiful. And what a great instrument, the banjo. I mean, is it an Irish instrument originally? I was always thinking of convicts in Australia. I've never given it a lot of thought. Where is the banjo from? I mean, what an instrument. It kind of looks like a tambourine, drum, tambourine tabla, in a case.
Yeah, well, there's a 5-string banjo, which is American.
Oh, okay.
And the tenor banjo is Irish. That's 4 strings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Beautiful.
Hi, Adele. Hi, Tom. Hi, Rebecca. Who else did I see pop in? Hi, Dean, Jason, Jenna, Ruth. Yay! Now, we thought we might, now that we've had our epic talking shite session, do you have any questions about the...
Opening the floor.
Yeah, about... You
Anything?
know, what tea I was drinking during...
How many times I need to go to the toilet.
My hold music was pretty incredible. I put hold music on every time I had to go to the toilet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
that was pretty good.
Excellent. But everyone enjoyed that.
They did. It was better than taking them with me to the toilet.
Yeah, you were kind of doing that on some level anyway, really. Excellent. Come on, someone fire us a bloody question. We love questions. We love moments of just...
Don't be shy.
Just elucidate. Oh, the rain. Oh, that's nice. No, we've got a bit of rain. I've got a question.
Yeah.
How was it for the kids to see you so involved in a project when they could also see, sense, smell your fears, your tightening, your... Like, they kind of went on that journey with you as well. Yeah. So how do you reckon that was for them for the last, just that end bit, and then seeing you get over the hump? And
I don't think they really realised what was going on completely until I had some friends call over that night straight after, and they kind of, you can tell your own kids something. And they're like, yeah, in one ear, out the other, whatever. My mum is, whatever. Yeah. She's just my mum. Yeah. But when a group of people, there's about 4 or 5 people here, and they were like, do you realise what she just did? And I kind of took them to sink in, and then when I took them in that bed at night, they asked me all the questions,
right.
And I was just like, if that's possible for me, imagine what you can do. And then their eyes just went, wow, and I think yeah, but like I did say to them, during the first bit of the crowdfund, everything was as normal, and then I said to them with the 3 days to left, and I knew how much we had to go, I was like, I'm gonna need your help for the next 3 days. Mama's gonna be, because I'm a single mom with 3 kids, for those of you that don't know. And I was like, I'm going to need your help for the 3 days, and we're just going to need to power through this. And at the end, we're going to raise this money, and it's going to help us in our life in the future. And we need to do this, and we need to do it as a family. And so that means, I'm going to have to be sitting here playing at night. So if you come out to the toilet, you got to be quiet.
And were they on board, or did they do that annoying kid thing sometimes of chucking in a bit of sabotage?
Yeah, a little bit. Of course, they have to do that. Like I remember. That last morning, I was like, okay, you guys have to walk up to the bus because I'm like tied to the computer. I took an hour off of the 15-hour marathon to have a shower, make them lunches and breakfast, and get them ready for school. And they kind of talked here and said goodbye to everyone, and it was pretty cute on that. But one of them, of course, the middle child, is like, I don't have a snack box, and I don't have this. It was all live.
Snack box. But, I want to show them that really cute little picture that the middle child did.
Oh, the middle child did after that.
So,
my kids, my first 2 were born in Ireland. Yeah.
She did both the polarities, because then she ended up doing...
Yeah, so middle child that gave me that, gave this.
So she gave you grief, but then she gave you that.
And then at the other side it says...
strong like a warrior because you are one. Woo!
So yeah, I think, they don't let you know that you're having an impact on them because you're their mum and you're just supposed to get them
food.
You're
just meant to do that. You're just meant to be the warrior anyway.
I'm just warrioring anyway every day. So yeah, so I think it's sunk in when other people kind of explain to them what had happened.
And I think it's great. It changes the grid for them. You know, they're involved in, you know, public education is awesome, and they're trying to turn things around, but essentially it's some pretty archaic learning methods and punishment / reward processes going on. So if they can see that, you know, none of us are trapped in whatever grid we're involved in, you know, it may look like this, but we can be in there as a creator, not just a participant that is at the whim of whatever those rules are. We can create our own rules.
Yeah, and a few, like, actually Mikey said to me they sat their kids down and said, look at this.
Yeah, great.
The next morning, like, look what she did, look what's possible. And my friend Karen and Kurt, their daughter, actually, they were telling me, woke up that morning because they were Karen and Kurt are amazing. They're just beautiful music supporters from around here. And they were so involved. Karen was sharing everything, was in every Facebook Live, was just amazing. And so Shanti, her daughter, as well, got very involved in it because her mum was, like, and seeing, supporting that. But she told me that Shanti woke up that morning and was like, she's only got 4,000 to go, she can do it, you know, fist pumps in the air. And I was like, I even look back at my own posts and I'm like, what was I thinking, being like, don't worry, we've got this, only 4,000, only 7,000, because that is insane. But, like, I actually believed it was only 7,000.
It stops being a linear process, doesn't it? You know, the numbers just are the numbers, and the energy that's being generated has to be reflected somewhere. If you're giving it out, it's going to come back. And it was, and it is, and it's still going, and it's
yeah, and that's what I suppose. That's why I haven't even got down to the business side of things, because I feel like the energy that was created with the crowdfund is way more important than anything.
Well, and there's those quotes, I can't remember what they are now, about, you know, you get something to a certain point and it's like a wave, and then the energy takes it through. True. You know, like you paddle to get on the crest of that wave, and then the wave becomes the wave, and there's no more effort involved. Yeah. There's just technique. To ride that wave with grace and just sucking the most out of it, which as a surfer you would know all about.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like everyone, that all 211 people, like, what if they all decided to crowdfund something? I mean, I'd be so there. Yeah. But imagine if every single person that purchased something also wanted to do something fucking epic with their life. Imagine then what, like, and then that would, and then that kept me awake all night one night, because then I was just like, well, that's 200, and then if each one of them and there'd be 200 people involved, and then I'm shit at maths, but I know that's big. That's a shit ton of people, and that's a shit ton of waves.
That's a shit ton of dreams popping, getting into the 3D. Yeah. Maybe everyone should just take a little moment and
take a moment. What's yours?
What's yours? What's that bit? What's that one thing that you just go, well, yeah, obviously on whatever level I need to, you know, employ some people services or buy some materials or something to get that off the ground. What would that thing be?
Because really, like, let's be honest, like, a single mom with 3 kids touring the world is, like, in anyone's brain, that's stupidly impossible.
Well, it's not logic. It's not within a linear grid. It's not logical. It's
not logical. Like,
yeah, no, time-wise, it's not that logical.
It's not.
It's not
It's
logical.
like not living a creative, like, fully creative life. It's not something that anyone sets out as a, oh, here's a great way to live a creative life.
When you're 13 and you're doing your life goals, I'm going to be a single mum without any really apparent resources
and have no family around me, but I'm just
gonna tour and play and be creative and expect to sleep in a nice cozy room every night and get food on the table.
Yeah. So if I can do all this from a bus with 3 kids running around, I just think it's possible for everyone to have that, whatever that little thing is, that little thing that's niggling you, you know. But it doesn't come. That's the other thing, is, like, you can't just say you want it now and then it comes like to get to this crowdfunding, to get to this moment of where that went through. That's years and years of
well, fine tuning, commitment, like,
and trial and error, and failing and succeeding, and then failing, and then succeeding and failing, and I think that's the I know so many musicians, so many artists, so many amazing creative people, and the ones that continue to do what they do and manage to make a living out of it, they're lucky and they're talented, and that does have a lot to do with it. But there are also people that have failed and fucking got back up again.
Well, that's the C word, commitment.
And tried, and then tried it a different way, you know. And anyway, that's all my shy talking. I really got. Are there any? Oh, hi Sophia, and thank you, and thank you for being there. I remember your name popping up a lot, and Adele, and Tom, and Beck, and Ruth, and anyone else that's still in here. Like it actually was amazing to see like people coming back, you know, and joining in, and like it just, when I was like drifting off to sleep playing guitar, I actually at some stage I'm gonna try to, I figured out last night how to download all the Facebook Live videos so I can somehow do something with them. But I'll be like really interested to see, especially that 4-hour block that was between like 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning. I do remember a few times kind of going with the guitar and being like, whoa, wake up. You've committed to this, Áine. No sleeping on the job. And it was a few people that would pop in and new or fresh. And so I remember Tony, actually, I don't know if he's still on here, but he popped in at like 5 o'clock in the morning on his way to work, and I was like, oh, it just gave me a bit of a boost to like keep going, or you know. And so thank you all of you. Like that, I think that's what I wanted to get across in this podcast, was that the album crowdfund became our album crowdfund, even though like it's my name on it. All your names may not appear on the cover, but like it really has been a beautiful experience to do this for all of us, like and somehow we all like created this buzz that it's possible, like, you know, we all did that, like everyone that joined in on this and shared stuff. It's only yesterday actually, because I was online all the time, and then I took a day completely off, clearly, and then last night I just saw all the things I was tagged in, because like like when I was online, I didn't know any of this was happening on Facebook. The amount of people that were sharing the crowdfund, 1 hour to go or 2 hours to go, or like, I mean, you guys were amazing. I saw all the work you were doing only last night, and it was just like, that is the power of the people.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, darling.
Thank
You're
you.
a champion. Love you guys. Love you.
And this is Jayney, and we'll do this again.
It's good to be part of something bigger.
And if you have any quick questions, fire them now before we turn off. Otherwise, I've committed now to every Sunday to doing virtual cup of teas live here with you, which will be really fun, because I just think it was incredible. And also you always have time for a cup of tea, so I think I can make it happen anywhere in the world, whatever I'm doing. And you're going to be doing that Sunday, did you say Sunday night? Yeah, Sunday night Australian time, and then that'll be in Ireland kind of morning Sundays, and then we'll keep doing the podcast as well. So this is, we just launched it actually. We need a see, I can play. Deeper Into the Sea has officially been launched, and thank you all for being here for my first podcast. What's a Gaelic blessing? Can you say something in Gaelic? Bearbua, good luck. Oh, Bearbua. Yeah, that sounded Italian, saying something in Irish. That was bad. Love you all, and we'll see you on Sunday and for another podcast soon. Mwah. Bye.